Have you ever seen a red ring on your pet's skin and thought, oh no, it's ringworm? Well, what if we told you chances are it's actually not ringworm? But if it's not ringworm, what is it? In this episode of the Pet Care Pro Show, we have Lisa joining us to clear the confusion about what is ringworm and what isn't, and shed some light on the most common skin problems seen in a kennel or shelter. Now, before we start, we ask you to consider subscribing to the Revival Animal Health YouTube channel by clicking this little red heart or the subscribe button down below if you're watching this on YouTube. Okay, now let's talk ringworm and ringworm imposters on cats and dogs. Lisa, why is ringworm so often misunderstood?
Ringworm is tricky because it can look a lot like other skin issues such as seborrhea, dermatitis, hot spots, and pyoderma. Those are all skin problems that are often mistaken for ringworm, since these issues can sometimes form a ring-looking spot.
So what is the difference between each of these?
Seborrhea can be dry, oily, or both, and you'll notice flakiness, itchiness, and red skin. Hot spots often appear as hot, red, and moist areas, most commonly on the trunk, tail base, thigh, neck, and face. Hot spots can also lead to hair loss and intense itching. Now, pyoderma is most common in dogs and cats that have a lot of wrinkles and facial folds. Symptoms of pyoderma can include inflammation, and the skin will be greasy and oozy and often cause a bad smell that is noticed coming from the infected area.
Now, in some cases, it actually is ringworm. And in those cases, you really have to be careful because ringworm is so contagious, even to humans.
Exactly. Ringworms show up as small, round lesions that can cause patchy hair loss. It is not usually itchy, but is very contagious. Cats, dogs, birds, horses, and even humans can get ringworm. If treated aggressively, infected pets may remain contagious for about 3 weeks. Now, if you do nothing at all to treat it, it will generally go away on its own, but that can take much longer.
Right, and just because a pet gets ringworm once doesn't mean they can't get it again, correct?
That's right. The ringworm fungus can remain in the environment up to 18 months.
Wow, so if you see the small round lesion and patchy hair loss, how can you be sure it is ringworm?
You can always contact your vet. Otherwise, there are 2 main ways to diagnose ringworm at home. The Fungus-y ringworm test kit requires a hair sample from the infected area, and you'll get results back within about 1 to 2 weeks. The other option is an ultraviolet light or a portable woods lamp.
Right, so if you notice any of these skin issues, what should you do first?
I always say it is best to treat any skin issue right away before it spreads. Vet Basic Chlorconazole is a great place to start. Since it's antibacterial and antifungal, it is effective against bacterial, fungal, and yeast infections. It's also a good idea to take your pet to your veterinarian to get an accurate diagnosis. Early treatment is much less expensive and less time-consuming than waiting to begin treatment.
Absolutely. And I know many people also find that the Vet Basics Lime Sulfur dip works well as well, and it can actually be used in a lot of cases.
Yes, it does. Vet Basics Lime Sulfur dip is effective against several skin issues caused by parasites, fungi, and bacteria such as ringworm, mange, lice, or other types of dermatosis. Just remember, lime sulfur has a strong odor that smells like rotten eggs, but thankfully that smell usually goes away soon after dipping.
Okay, yes, that smell is definitely strong, but the good thing about lime sulfur dip is it can be used on nursing females and kittens and puppies as young as 4 weeks.
Yes, it can. Just be sure to wipe the dip off the mammary glands before returning a mom to her babies. Now, lime sulfur dip is stressful on a pregnant mom, though, so it's best to avoid it in those cases.
Right. Now, what are some good solutions for dealing with skin problems in breeding animals?
Well, since so many skin problems are contagious, taking precautions before breeding will help eliminate a lot of headaches down the road. Stud dogs and breeding females should be given a bath with Vet Basics Chlor 4 shampoo before breeding to ensure nothing is transmitted back and forth during the breeding process.
So what about pregnant moms?
Before giving birth, pregnant moms should again be bathed with Vet Basics Chlor 4 shampoo or Vet Basics Chlorconazole shampoo or spray to stop the transmission of these skin problems to her babies. Many shelters and rescues find it helpful to bathe pregnant females that have an unknown history or not in the best condition, just to be sure.
That is very good advice. Now, what about oral treatments?
Most oral therapy is not safe for pregnant animals, so that's important to keep in mind. But if the animal isn't pregnant, a combination of topical and oral treatments are generally successful at eliminating these types of skin infections. It's best to talk to your veterinarian about what oral treatment would be best for your animal.
Absolutely. Now, before we talk prevention, if you're finding this video helpful, click the like button below. Okay, now preventing these skin issues from spreading starts with making sure your pet's environment is free of any of these ringworm spores, bacteria, or yeasts.
Yes, if you have a pet that gets ringworm, vacuum your carpets, furniture, and other fabrics frequently, and throw the bag away right away. Whatever disinfectant you use, be sure it kills fungal spores, bacteria, and yeast. Fungal spores are the size of dust and can fly around and bury themselves everywhere. Disinfect all bedding, laundry, cages, and equipment with a disinfectant that has residual properties, such as HealthGuard laundry additive and disinfectant.
Absolutely. Now, what about preventing these skin issues from popping up and spreading in a nursery setting where you have very young animals and newborns?
Chlorhexidine is very good at controlling bacteria and yeast and fungi, including ringworm. Plus, it's safe, and it can be used in and around the kittens or puppies while nursing. Oxine, Rescue, and Virkon work as well. Fogging with Oxine helps get a handle on those fungal spores. It settles where we can't get the spray disinfected and hopefully gets the spores in those tiny places.
Right, exactly. Well, thank you so much, Lisa. And if you found this advice helpful, make sure to share this video with a friend who you think could benefit. And if you have any questions, comment below and we will get those answered. I'm Shelley with the Revival Education Team. This is Lisa, a Revival Pet Care Pro. Thank you so much for joining us on this skin conditions episode of the Pet Care Pro Show. Hi, if you're watching on YouTube, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel so you don't miss our new videos. If you have more questions on skin problems or any other pet health issue, call our Pet Care Pros at this number or check out our other pet health videos.